Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we got a new part in for the car. It's in this box. We're gonna get that opened up. I'm gonna show you guys. And then I need to get the stock harness off of the Coyote. That one I'm gonna be selling along with the ECU and pedal. And then I'm probably gonna be going with the Holley Terminator setup for the engine control or engine management. I see a lot of the Ford racing control packs all over YouTube and the internet, and it seems like a really good choice, but I want to do something a little bit different. I've heard it's a little bit of an issue to run your cruise control if you use the Ford racing control pack. Not impossible. You can use, there's a couple companies, or at least I know of one, that sells like a separate module for the cruise control that you tee into your Ford racing control pack. But I wanted to try something a little bit different since, you know, everybody seems to be doing that. See what there is else out there and give you guys a little bit of a review for something else. So yeah. So the part that we got in today was the factory engine harness for the 4.6. This was mine specifically. I sent it out to Nathan Hensley. I'll put his Facebook account down in the description. But he takes your factory 4.6 wiring harness for your engine and he removes everything that you don't need and basically leaves just the plugins that you need for your coolant, temp, your oil pressure, and your AC clutch. So you plug this, your main connector here, back into the car's, where's it at? Right here, back into the car's connector. And then you take all of the connectors that he has here and run them to, we'll have to do a few different sensors. I have to look into where I need to put the sensors, but because I will probably need multiple sensors for a few of them, but like here, this bolt here, I guess you could call it, I guess it's an Allen plug. You take that out and put a adapter in there and put the factory 4.6 coolant temp sensor in there, and then you would plug it into that harness and that would plug it back into the car, and that would give you your coolant temp gauge. And then the same for your oil pressure sensor, which is right there. I'm not sure if I'll need this for the Holley ECU. I might have to do a tee off of this and run two sensors, the 4.6 sensor and then the Coyote sensor for the Holley setup. And then also right now the 5.0 has its factory AC compressor, but the brackets that I'm gonna be ordering, I'll be able to run a factory 4.6 AC compressor, and then that will plug into one of these plugins, and I'll be able to operate the AC normally like you would if there was a 4.6 under the hood. And then the bracketry allows for the factory 4.6 to go in the position of this. So, and then I can run the factory 4.6 lines for the AC, and yeah, I'll have all my gauges working and my AC working again. So seems like a pretty good setup. He's very fairly priced, I would say. I don't think you're gonna get it from anywhere else any cheaper, and I don't really know of anybody else that does it. So check him out. Again, his name is Nathan Hensley, and I'll put his Facebook profile down in the description. I forgot to mention also that he has included a wire in here. You left the wire so that you can tee into the output for whatever control pack you go with, whether or not you go with the Ford Racing control pack, which I believe has an output for your RPM. And then the Holley setup, again, I believe, we'll find out once we get it, but it should have an output for the RPM. And you tee this 4.6 harness into that output for the other control pack. And then again, that plugs into your factory 4.6 ECU, which will make your RPM gauge work. So theoretically, you're making the 4.6 ECU think that there's a 4.6 under the hood with all of this, and actually there's a Coyote under the hood. So it's a pretty cool setup. It would have probably taken me a long time, and really anybody a long time, to go through and try and figure out how to do all this. Again, he's really fairly priced, so just easier just to send this whole thing to him. Keep it for whenever you pull the 4.6 out. Keep your factory engine harness. Send it to him. He'll send it to you the way it is. And he kind of left some of it open, which is fine. I don't expect for the price him to go through and put anything in any sort of conduit. I have some conduit that I'll go through whenever we go to do this install, and I'll try and make it look as factory as possible. And you can do the same thing. But we will be going a little bit more into detail once we get to that point. I don't think that this harness is going to go in until the Coyote's actually in, and we still need to order the Holley terminator setup and get that wired in before we put the Coyote in. So we've got some more stuff to do before we get to this, but I got it in the mail and I wanted to share it with you guys. So just in case you're, farther along with your process and you've been trying to figure out how to get the gauges to work, this isn't an in-depth tour of how to do it, but this at least gives you the person to go to and, get the harness that you need and figure it out. And again, just to clarify, once we get the actual control pack in, the Holley terminator setup, and we get the Coyote put in its place and all of that stuff wired in, I'll go in a little bit more, detail on how to connect all of the stuff that he had given us, and also, make it look a little bit more factory. I'll go through that more in detail once we get to that point, but for now, I just wanted to show it to you guys, just in case you're farther along and you just, you've been trying to figure out how to do the gauges. You can at least get a hold of him and figure it out in the meantime. But for the guys who aren't that far along, stick with me. We'll get to that point eventually. And without further ado, let's get into removing this factory harness so we can get that sold, and then also get it out of the way for some of the other modifications we want to do. Again, I want to do a billet oil pump. I've 100% decided I'm going to be doing that. That'll be coming up in a video soon. And then also we need to start cleaning up some of the stuff from it sitting, some of the corrosion and such, and it just needs to get out of the way. So yeah, let's get started.
Let me grab a screwdriver to get the that went well. Oh well. There, these ones. Alright, so pretty much this whole side is down here. Other than that, which goes down to the other side, but that pretty much that's how they take that whole bank off. You have your, with like an oil temperature sensor, oil pressure sensor, and then your DVT solenoids, oil packs, those connectors, and then your fuel injectors, and then that's pretty much that whole side, other than there's like a cam sensor here, which is another squeeze, pull that off, and another cam sensor, squeeze, pull. And yeah, we'll go to the other side now. Get back up in here, get some of these pulled off. So need a little more persuasion. Yeah, there we go. Another one right there. Come on, get under there. So cams here, probably a little bit easier. There we go. Keep moving down the line here, just ripping the wherever it's attached. This one's another squeeze. And then the cam sensor here, cam sensor here. Right. Back on this side, we have this foam padding for your fuel rail. Just pull it on up, and then all of your, some of these are already taken off. I pulled this valve cover out before to give you guys those pictures before. I was looking at what the inside looked like, making sure it was good when I bought it. Pull the fuel injector plugs again. Put that back up there. You got your VT solenoids. Pull those off. Just attach here, might just pull off. No, I'll get the tool again here. There we go. Pretty free. We got some stuff still down that way. Got a few other sensors here. I'm gonna remove these with one hand. That one's easy. This one might be a little bit harder to do one-handed. Alright, let's see you guys down so I can do this with both my hands. And now that one's off. I pretty much let that lay down. Let this lay down. Now we're attached here to this passenger side head on the stud. There we go, that's off. Just pull that back, and we just got that ground right here. This would be like an 11 or a 10. You got that off. Always remember to put any nuts or anything that you take off. If you don't need to, put them back in their factory location, but that frees up this whole side. So now we just gotta come back to the back, figure out what's holding it up back here. It looks like a couple more sensors here, right here. And then this guy, which is, squeeze. Oh, that's pretty much free. Looks like we got the O2 sensor, which is gonna require both of my hands, and then the other O2 sensor, and we should be able to get this off of here. But I'll get back with you.
And that is one whole harness. Pretty much the entire engine harness right there. It's caught up over here. It is right there. That is your engine harness. Now we have the harness that went down underneath of it. It just came with it was basically all on a crate, just came with it. There's the battery terminals and grounds, and then AC harness, and then it went to the other side. I can't remember what it plugged into over here. That just looks like more stuff of the alternator, and I'm assuming yep, goes over to where the starter was, and so on and so forth. So we'll pull that off next. Now just one more plastic clip holding it onto a stud. And that's it. Let's go around here. And that is your basically battery harness. Charging harness, whatever you want to call it. That will be going along with that. And then I have the factory ECU for an auto car, for an 11 GT. And then the pedal. I thought about keeping the pedal, but it's probably more desirable as a whole pack or a whole setup, so. But yeah, the Coyote now is wiring free, so looks a lot better now. I still have the O2 sensors and such, and then the pigtail for the knock sensor, which I'm not taking out. I'll probably need it, like I said. Get some of this stuff cleaned back up, get these put back on here. Keep stuff from getting down into those valve covers. In the meantime, while we're waiting to get going on this, go sit this on a bench. But yeah, that was the removal of that harness. So now we can get that sold, and here soon we will be ripping this apart, taking the valve covers off, timing cover, all of these accessories, and getting in there to do the billet oil pump gears. I'll go through as good a detail as I can on that. So all right, guys, that'll be pretty much it for this video. Again, I know it's a little bit boring. We're just kind of in the beginning stages. Here soon, we will be starting to tear into the car, get that front suspension all removed, the factory K-member out, and I'll go into, a good detailed installation of the EPR K-member and all of that coilovers. So stay tuned for that. And then soon we will be getting the billet oil pump gears to tear into the Coyote. Considering since I will be having the entire timing chain set up off, I'm considering doing stage 2 cams. We'll see. I know for sure I want to upgrade the injectors, and I will be putting a fuel system in this good enough to run E85, so we'll be able to see that number from a Gen 1 Coyote. E85, possibly stage 2 cams, billet oil pump, so we can rev it a little bit higher. And yeah, stay tuned for all of that. We'll be soon. And join Josh's channel if you haven't yet, Just Because Racing. He's doing the LS swap side of this. So at the end of this, we'll be going on that road trip. Don't miss out on his channel. See what's going on over there. And yeah, if you guys haven't, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.